Whatever has changed during the pandemic, one imperative remains. We have to accelerate action to address global warming and adapt to a warming climate and build sustainable cities and sustainable economies. Working together towards a green-led recovery will help save our environment and benefit our economies and our communities. They cover new office buildings, multi-unit residential complexes, hotels, shopping centres and mixed-use developments in Greater Sydney. They also cover any major refurbishment of existing buildings, and they provide step changes that will improve building performance through energy efficiency and the use of on-site renewable energy and enable the use of off-site renewables through the planning system.
The City of Sydney have been real leaders when it comes to building sustainability. The city has really led a quiet revolution in terms of the performance of our city's buildings. And the biggest lever we have in the planning system is the design and place state environmental planning policy. This new policy is designed to integrate together all our design thinking when it comes to the built environment.
We are currently not on track to meet the goal of limiting warming to 1.5 degrees. So we must accelerate. Industry and government action on these performance standards will help meet our shared goal of achieving net zero emissions. And the performance standards also help deliver progress against the Greater Sydney Regional Plan, low carbon city objective, as well as the net zero targets that many companies have already set. So I would also encourage local councils across the Greater Sydney region to look at the performance standards and the evidence base that's set out here as a means of helping to achieve environmental targets for net zero emissions and sustainability actions in their local strategic planning statements.
Across Greater Sydney, the changing climate is a shared problem. So we're now also seeing this intent flow through to the New South Wales Government's design and place set with its net zero principles. And so we're presenting a way to put those principles into play. The planning system provides a framework for making step changes towards net zero buildings.
First step was to select some suitable typologies for each of the assets that we're studying. These were representative of developments across Greater Sydney. We used real existing developments to base our analysis on. The second step, energy efficiency target, but including offsetting for renewables, so renewable energy procurement equivalent to net zero.
We've recently set our own pathway to net carbon zero by 2025 and absolute zero by 2040. So the pathways that are being discussed today are very aligned with our ambitions. Our experience of setting ambitious targets, you don't always have to have the answers on day one. I'm confident the industry will rise to the challenge.
We believe that this planning pathway will scale and amplify positive environmental, economic and social impacts, creating meaningful shared value for all stakeholders. This performance pathway supports our transition to achieve net zero carbon across our portfolio by 2030.
We're not proposing incentives at this stage. The way we've modelled the work is that these targets will be achievable and show a positive return. So provided there is the time for industry to adapt, we shouldn't need incentives.
We're looking at base building that would include the HVAC services, but not necessarily the lighting, as that would be under the tenants.
It was really great hearing Minister Stokes talk about the design and place set. I think it'd be great to see our performance standards fitting in there and them actually creating a region for Greater Sydney. Cities have quite different typologies to the rest of New South Wales. We have more high-rise and we're likely to have more of that to respond to the Greater Sydney Region Plan requirements. It'd be also really good to have different ways of being able to demonstrate compliance with the planning controls.
The different typologies that we used were representative of building types across Sydney. The costs and benefits that we looked at were really incremental construction costs. So those costs don't change dramatically across Sydney. The energy modelling also covers a Western Sydney climate zone as well as a coastal climate zone.
You can either purchase and retire large-scale generation certificates or purchase green power certificates, or enter into a power purchase agreement or use your existing power purchase agreement as long as it covers the 5-year period.
facade improvements, HVAC improvements, light improvements, as well as on-site renewable generation, such as solar panels. The measures that we looked at were ones that could be implemented today.